Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again after a wonderful show yesterday. Today, Friday, the 11th of August. An amazing show, this time in Pune. It's called Elevating Guest Experience in Hospitality. Before I really roll out the show in its full form with the introduction of our superstar panel, let's watch our sponsor video by Diversey. Namaskar and good afternoon. Welcome back. It's a great evening, a great day. We're heading into the weekend. A bit on Diversey. The Diversey story began a century ago in Chicago. They've since then expanded to over 100 countries, but are physically present in about 80. They've created innovative cleaning products that meet the needs of various industry sectors, including hospitality. It's a great brand. They have amazing presence in India. They are leaders by far. When I say by far, means by far. And we are grateful to them for joining hands with BW Hotelier as our presenting partner to bring you this series. Thank you, Diversey. A bit about this series and why is it done virtually? Because it helps us to reach general managers across the country without having to pull them out physically. We have amazing topics and issues to discuss, both in the present and in the future. And we shall discuss our way out of them or discuss our way forward with them. The format of the series is regional, where we cover the northwest, southeast, and then finally to the northeast and the central region. And this is every Thursday and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. May I request you to block your schedule and watch our show, which will be relayed live across various social media platforms that BW Hotelier is present with, including bwhotelier.com. Be there, follow us, support us, and encourage us to bring you more such gems. Let me tell you, the party has just begun. We are going to be rolling out a whole lot of new shows, a whole lot of new series. And of course, the BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards. The date is out, the venue is out. It's going to be on Friday and Saturday, October 20th and 21st at the Pullman Aerocity, New Delhi. Be there. The nominations will open next week. They'll open only for 2 weeks, so be careful. You have to submit your nominations fast across 14 categories. Watch out for the quota categories. We'll announce them on Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, time to get on with the show. The show topic, like I just mentioned, is elevating guest experience in hospitality. Look, operational experience is that one differentiating factor that a guest gets to experience across various touch points before, during, and after their stay. And they carry that experience for future stay decisions and as a very important word of mouth. You know, no marketing and advertising plan works better than a great word of mouth. Now, of course, it gets onto social media. They air their views and can be positive, and the impressions can also be negative. So one has to watch out. Permit me now to introduce our speakers to the show. And I begin with Abhishek Sahai. Abhishek is the general manager of the Tony Conrad in Pune. Welcome to the show, Abhishek.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Khanna sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope I'm visible.
Thank you. Next in, is my good friend Ramandeep Marwah. He's moved in from Chandigarh very recently. He's the general manager of the Hyatt Regency in Pune on Nagar Road. Hi, Raman.
Hello, Mr. Khanna. Good evening, audience. It's such a pleasure and delight to be here on this show again. I've been lucky second time, but thank you so much.
Oh yeah, this is just about an intermission, so there'll be more. And next in is the Bengali giant. Sorry, I'll bring Anuraag in. Sorry, my apologies. Vimal Verma, my old friend from Delhi. He's the general manager of the JW Marriott in Pune. Welcome to the show, Vimal.
Thank you very much. Such a great pleasure to be on the show and to be part of all of you.
All right. And as Vimal logs in, he logs in from the JW Marriott in Delhi. He's visiting here. Next in is my dear friend from Bengal, but born and brought up in Udaipur, Anuraag Raha. He's the general manager of the Crowne Plaza, Pune City Center. Welcome to the show, Anuraag.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna, and it's a pleasure to be on the BW show, Hotelier show. Thank you so much.
Great. Last but not the least, Pankaj Saxena. Pankaj Saxena I've known for a while, like I've known Vimal and Raman. Pankaj is the general manager of the Radisson Blue Hotel, Pune, Kharadi. He closed his tenure at the Radisson Airport, Mumbai International Airport before he came in over here. Welcome to the show, Pankaj.
Thank you very much for having me here in the show. And Mr. Khanna, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and listen to you as always. Thank you very much.
All right, pleasure's ours. And look, you see 5 amazing Pune assets. You have the Conrad, you have the Hyatt Regency, you have the Crowne Plaza, you have the JW Marriott and the Radisson. Look, Pune is a wonderful place to be in with amazing hospitality, local hospitality, great weather. For those of you who haven't yet ventured into Pune, this is your chance. I'm sure these general managers will give you great deals. All right. So, Vimal, may I begin with you?
Of course.
All right. So tell me, what does operational excellence in hospitality mean for you? Does it differ for different type of properties? Why is it so important, and what's the role of the general manager in this area?
Fabulous couple of questions which are in this one big sentence. I'll start with something that is the core of hospitality, and I think where the industry revolves also totally. They always say people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. This essence of feeling is where the hospitality and excellence in operational excellence in hospitality comes into play. It's one of those core things that is very difficult in one format to say that what is one point of operational excellence, because when you are in a hotel, it's such a composite world that you see the things from different aspects of a human life, a mini version. Moment you come in, I think the pre-arrival for the check-in, how you make them feel when they make the booking, how do you do the arrival experience, to the room, to the welcome, to the food, housekeeping services come into play, recreational. So operational excellence is actually a combination of all of them together. It's one sum total where you would find that every area combined together gets into that result where you could define an operational excellence. And it is very, very important that all these blocks, they play in a role together. It's one part of it done greatly, second missed out, second done greatly, or the third missed out, is something that would never lead to an overall excellence in the hospitality. When it comes to, is it same or different across, I think no matter what property, which level of segment of it, the core of hospitality actually remains the same, because the division of different types of hotel into whether it's different categories could be because of the different types of needs into the segment of travel and tourism. But eventually, everyone looks for the same, right? It's like whether you go to eat food at a Michelin star restaurant, you go to eat food at a 5-star hotel, or you go to eat food at Pandara Road in Delhi. You actually look for a tasty food. The core is the same. It's how you are able to differentiate what your need at that point of time is there. So operational excellence remains actually the same in every category of the hotel. It could be just a different set and a segment that you're catering to, but everybody would love to have them being recognized, them being given a clean room, great food, personal touch that you can probably imbibe into. So I think could be different, but the core ethics of hospitality and operational excellence everywhere across remains the same. To your third part of the question, where why is it so important? I think the prime reason that remains is that it's a core of hospitality, and the core doesn't change. It's the heart. That's where everything revolves around to. So no matter which part segment you want to define, and any set of a traveler or any set of a person who would like to experience, whether it's someone who's staying with you, not staying with you, the hotel is actually touches the part of every human emotion. So it is very important to have this segment being very carefully looked into, so that it really you're able to make a difference in someone who's being with you. And then the final part of it, which is like, how does the GM and the role that the general manager can play into? I think all of us have had a journey. We've covered up our different areas of expertise before we reach to the general manager positions. But what one thing differentiates is that general manager is technically a custodian. You know, you're a custodian of everything that a hotel can deliver. It's amazing that as leaders also of today's time, we do continue to learn, but it's continuously out of our experience that we have to be custodians of driving excellence, operational excellence. This is very, very important. And it's like the brain of the organization. Now, you are so important. So what hand has to do, what movement has to be done? It has to be the brain who has to drive it out, right? So a GM's role is very important, because you, as an individual, the impact on the entire hotel and entire experience of every guest is very heavy. It's very heavy impact that you can talk about, and to drive it passionately. You know, I always term this word passion over everything else, because your passion can literally flow down to drive a hotel. Now, you could drive buildings which are made of really great infrastructure, but at the end of the day, the soul has to be by the leader.
True. I agree with you. You know, because if it is not about excellence across touch points, then a guest might as well go and stay at Sukhdev in Murthal, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he'll get great food. He'll get total Tate ambience. But yeah, then and it's a fiercely competitive industry. Like you're all part of the concept, right? You're all
Absolutely.
competition. You're all living out of your skin and putting your best foot forward and marshalling your army. Well said, Vimal. Abhishek, if I was to come to you, tell me, as somebody who's an out and out Hilton professional, every company has its own corporate strategy for improving operations and achieving excellence. Other than the corporate strategy, the property GM can adopt some unique steps for quality improvement. If you can tell us something in this context.
Sure. Thank you. And Vimal, nicely articulated. So well done there. This is a very broad-based question. So let me try and keep it as concise as I can. So first and foremost, what exactly is business excellence? So it's a term that can broadly be described as outstanding practices in managing organization and achieving results, of course, but all based on a set of fundamental concepts and values. And as you rightly mentioned, now Hilton, being more than a century-old organization, is absolutely clued on and 100% conscious about its responsibilities. And hence we have these major corporate guidelines in our efforts towards business excellence. Now, these are all broadly classified into two concepts that Hilton follows. One is called the Travel with Purpose, which is all frontline and guest-facing practices. And at the back end, we have something called a Strive at Hilton. So between these two global programs, we try and cover all the stakeholders as part of the Hilton journey. While Travel with Purpose addresses the ESG aspects of our operations, Strive at Hilton covers the DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So all the global and corporate guidelines that we have to follow in India and elsewhere are primarily classified into these two buckets. In addition to that, we definitely adapt to the local sensibilities and local PNPs that we incorporate so that we can address something at the ground level at the unit. To talk about ESG, I mean, you got one of the pioneer programs that Hilton has launched called Light Stay, which basically tracks very strictly on all of our carbon emissions. We have set targets for something called as carbon neutral meetings. So every aspect of whether it's procurement, so we try and do as much of local procurement as possible so that the carbon footprint is minimized. The electricity consumption, the water consumption, the food waste that is generated and how we handle that. So each of these parameters are monitored centrally at the corporate level. And that talks phenomenally about the clarity of thought that Hilton as an organization has. It also helps that we have a very supportive ownership. So there is absolutely complete bonhomie and good camaraderie there, so that there is no dispute of any kind. We are very clearly sorted on that front. At the unit level, of course, we try and see what we can do to support local communities, because that is part of our responsibility. And we try and engage with local talent. We try and hire locally. We try and also, as part of our DEI commitments, we try and see how many different segments of labor force that we can engage with and how we can add value to local institutes, for example. So there's a big focus in Pune, for example, from Conrad, to engage with institutes to impart practical training and bridge the labor shortage and the gap that we are currently facing.
Excellent. Giving back to the community is extremely important. And if you can bring them on board, if you can develop them, care for them, that's a great virtue. All right. Thank you, Abhishek. That's a wonderful response. Ramandeep Singh Marwah. It's supposed to come to you. Right. So Raman heads a very nice property on Nagar Road, the Hyatt Regency.
It's a lovely hotel.
It's a lovely hotel. Yeah. All your hotels are. Can you imagine the brands we have on show today? We have JW Marriott, we have Hyatt Regency, we have the Conrad, Crowne, Plaza, we have the Radisson. So amazing. 5 different brands, 5 different organizations, 1 industry, 1 city. All right, Raman, what are some of the challenges that a hotelier may face in maintaining sustained growth? If you can tell us some of the most important processes that could help one achieve operational success, and guest profile and local catchment opportunities coupled with incoming traffic of outstation guests. If you can throw some light on that.
Right. So good evening once again, and thank you, Mr. Khanna. And of course, I heard what Vimal and my dear friend Abhishek just spoke, and it's phenomenal what they spoke about. And now I tell you, now talking about challenges, I don't think we've ever had dearth of challenges with running the hotels, and my good friends on the show would agree with me. But let's delve into the challenges that hoteliers often encounter while striving for sustained growth and explore the crucial process that can pave way for operational success. I think to my knowledge and to my understanding, the hospitality industry is known for its intense competition with new hotels and alternative accommodations. For example, there's B&Bs, etc., and constantly entering the market, staying ahead of the game and providing unique sort of value to attract and retain our guests is a constant challenge that we face. Moreover, modern guests have diverse expectations, as we all know, from personalized experiences to seamless technology interventions or integrations. meeting these expectations while maintaining consistently quality or delivering consistent quality can be really demanding and challenging. Now economic factors also plays a big role, such as fluctuations can impact travel patrons, as we all know, and spending behavior of the consumers, affecting occupancy rates and of course the revenue streams. As hotels grow, I think maintaining operational efficiency becomes a real big challenge, requiring seamless coordination, so to say, among various departments working in the hotel. And lastly, finding and retaining skilled staff. I think skilled staff, which I think all of us would agree on the panel, is an ongoing struggle due to high turnover rates, which can really disrupt your quality of services and overall guest experiences of the hotel. Now, coming to achieving operational success, I think, what I would like to articulate here is operational success always begins with a very guest-centric approach. Understanding a guest needs, preferences, and pain points is essential. And implementing guest engagement tools and streamlining operations with technology and that can create seamless sort of interaction and efficient management with our guests. Also, I feel revenue management strategies driven by historical data, market trends, and demand forecast, optimized pricing and distribution systems to maximize revenue during different periods with continuous staff training is vital in strengthening the whole operational success. Now, of course, well-trained employees contribute to smoother operations and improve guest satisfaction, which ultimately reduces the turnover rates. Quality assurance, and feedback, as I always put, are equally important. Establishing control, processes to maintain consistent service standards and actively seeking guest feedback can help identify areas for improvement, and sustainability initiatives also gaining prominence, as we all know, attracting eco-conscious travelers, implementing energy efficient systems, waste reduction programs, and responsible sourcing practices aligned with global environmental trends is the key. And I think local partnerships and community engagements are two factors which can really enhance the guest experience by offering unique local experiences whilst you are in the city and whilst fostering a sense of community to our travelers.
Excellent. So, thanks, Raman. You've made some very interesting observations. And let me take it from here with Anuraag, especially on areas of training and skill. So tell me, Anuraag, our industry is extremely focused and really, really top of the pyramid, right? So if we have to achieve our operational excellence, training and skill set development is very, very critical. So tell me, how significant is staff training, upskilling in a property's business excellence?
Great question, Mr. Khanna. Well, as Vimal was talking about it and Ramandeep was mentioning on the touch point, Vimal was talking about the touch point and Ramandeep was talking about the guest preferences, which is after the pre-COVID, so we're on a very high demand actually. And the amount of applications which have come into the picture these days, training is a very important tool, which I strongly believe is that there is a strong connection between a learning and an earning actually. If you grow up the ladder, the time you are in the industry, you grow up the ladder one-on-one, right? Which will help you only to learn as you learn. You will be growing up the ladder. Well, the thing is that for any kind of as you learn more, your ideas will come into the picture by reading across the table, you reading books, because you need to keep yourself updated time on time. If you have to have a guest delight and excellence, as we are talking about the excellence, you need to do something or the other which you have to have a guest delight, especially after the COVID levels, right? So once you bring an idea into the picture, it is all about processes. How do you set a process? For setting a process, you need to undergo probably a training program. Otherwise, whatever you have done or whatever projections whatever ideas you implement across, it will go for a toss. So for that, you need to develop all kind of training programs to get into it. I'll share an example, right? Complaint handling, which is a basic stuff for us, right? That is the more retained capacity has to be there. If otherwise guest will not turn up. So complaint handling is basically a art. If you don't learn how to handle a complaint, right? Because I'll give you an example. As everybody knows cricket very well, right? We can take a bowler as a guest probably, right? And a batsman as we are. So every bowler, if you don't play a bouncer, if you don't know how to play a bouncer, will not be able to understand how will we play it, how will dodge the ball, or else we'll get hit. Or hit means what? We are not able to retain the guest. That's the most important factor, right? So training in that sense, it is very important tool for us. I'll give you a simple example, one more example of a tea. We all Indians love tea, and that is the important element of a breakfast, right? If you don't train our chefs to make a good tea, will the breakfast not be as per though you put across any kind of cuisine in India, you will not be able to, the guest will not be happy if you don't get a good amount of tea or coffee, probably, or coffee. South, if you go to South, you will coffee lover. But if you go to north part of India, especially in Pune and this side, you need to have a good tea, of course. For that, you need to train your teams, you need to train your chefs accordingly, right? To get the deliver. It's a small thing, but it's a big thing for us to get guest to retain. Arey, aapka chai acha nahi hai. It hurts as an Indian. It hurts as a hospitality. Arey, aapka chai acha nahi hai. In banquets, you need tea. After a hectic session, you need tea. So for that, you need a guest amount of training. I believe the three important factors in training is writing skills, listening skills, and speaking skills. That's more important. Followed by the 7 C's, which I feel which is important in our daily life in terms of training. And first thing which comes is the coaching. Out of 7 C's, which comes is coaching, which is a very important tool. Second is the character. Third is the communication, commitment, contagious, caring, and consistency. This all will come through the training. The passion has to be there. Hotels means, the hospitality means processes, and processes, again, I'm repeating, it will come through training only. If you don't do the basics right and do all this stuff, you will land up to wastage. You will land up to toxic work environment, wrong uses of technology, which Ramandeep was sharing, that there are a lot of introduction of applications which are coming down in the picture. Dependent on supervision, it's like Najar Ghati, Durghatna Ghati. It's like that only. And gross efficiency, and of course the inconsistency in the results. That's what I can feel that. So training is a basic necessity for our industry. New conditions which are coming across, I think training is an essential tool to get to an excellence.
Yeah, true. I agree with you. Thanks, Anuraag, for the detailed input. Training is essential across industries, across levels, across domains. And some are go on and some are specialized where you just get out and get trained. Depends upon when we are. So look, at your level also, you have your own programs, don't you?
Yeah. Probably, I think. Sorry to interrupt. Probably, I think that as a GM, I don't know whether you agree with me or not. Probably, you need to have a 360-degree hotelier angle. Actually, you have to have a 360-degree. Every department you have to have a knowledge on that, especially engineering point of view. It can be front office. It can be
without saying.
Yes.
So let me pick on
your.
You
all gentlemen are 360-degree actually.
So you just mentioned, you and Raman mentioned about technology. So let me pick on that and move to Pankaj. Pankaj ji, namaskar.
Namaskar ji. Namaskar.
ये पंकज जी आए धौलपुर से थे, मतलब इनके पूर्वज, और राजस्थान और आगरा के बॉर्डर पे होता है, but an hotelier, right? But talking about breakfast, Anuraag, you were mentioning about tea, and I was looking at Anuraag and Vimal. Back home in Punjab, we start with lassi, right? So different strokes for different folks. I don't know Abhishek के साथ क्या होता है.
4:30 is not lassi, sir. 4:30 is glassy.
आहो, नहीं वो शाम को ग्लासी होती है, वो अलग हो जाती है. All right, so Pankaj, back to you. So tell me, trends and technology is also very significant in hospitality. You know, technologies are all encompassing, right? आज तो apps आ गई, वो कितने programs आ गए, सब आ गए. Is it really I think it's a boon, but you must tell me, is it a hindrance or a boon in achieving operational excellence? Because you become dependent.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. I think a lot of great inputs have come from all our colleagues. And coming to trends and technology, yes, to me personally, it's a boon. It's a wide topic. I'll try to concise in a couple of words and few examples so that everybody understands. But technology for sure is a pivotal role in industry, doing remarkable, great streamlining processes in hotel industry. We are known for our human touch, but the integration of technologies are giving a great thrust to the whole business, what we do. The way we look at the business, the way we impacted the business to top line and bottom line. I think technology is the one key which will take us moving ahead. Let us see, a small process like online booking systems. We all do bookings all across at a click of a button. Now we are transforming to mobile check-ins. We are in a car, we're coming to a hotel. The moment we enter a lobby, we have a keyless room entries. I think it's undeniably improving the efficiencies. Low wait times, enhanced experience and convenience fundamentals happening. Employees probably have more time to personalize your guest experiences because they're not doing your check-ins and check-outs anymore much in detail because you have done too much online comparatively. So data and tool, if you ask me, are customer-centric help tailoring those needs to elevate the satisfaction. Let us go for a minute outside the hospitality and we'll jump back again into hospitality. You all have heard about artificial intelligence, AI. The world is moving around us. Sooner or later, we all are being impacted with artificial intelligence, augmented reality. The world is changing so fast, probably we want to be there and see exactly what the place is, not even being physically there. Virtual reality, we all have been experiencing enough from a time being now. Hospitality cannot be untouched with tech transformation. And it's happening more in times to come. And you will see a more tech transformation happening in hospitality. Let me give you a few examples and few softwares, actually, what technology is bringing to hospitality and trends are changing in now. We are working with property management software called Emma. Of course, Emma is a cloud-based software encompassing the front desk, point of sale, back office, online mobile check-in, check-outs, all that is fine. Imagine Mr. Khanna is having a fantastic meal in Vienna and he likes the Gouda cheese. And he lands up after 1 month to Pune and I meet him and I tell him, Mr. Khanna, my chef is making something amazing with Gouda cheese. Do you know the impact on the guest, what can happen? That's what technology can bring in. That's what Emma is bringing in for us worldwide. We move on. Say Hotel Kit. I think many brands are using Hotel Kit. We are using it. Continental is using. Accor is using. I think task, calendar, repairs is primarily a front desk and a housekeeping tool. It reduces the wait time. I mean, you can make your rooms ready. I mean, your complaints of plumbing, electrical, HVAC, all that is fine. But imagine in a city, hotel where it's airport hotel, you have a high turnaround. You can, with the technology, can do a turnaround so quickly that you elevate the guest experience. Business intelligence apps. I think it's an example to all of us, which is driving excellence. Arrival, room allocations, the load factor on the inventory management. I think everything is so well understood with tech and technology that hoteliers, employees, supervisors, and our associates are so well prepared from the hospitality landscape that they're trying to elevate operational excellence. I think that's fantastic. When we say that we are elevating guest experiences, tech is transforming, we know what exactly guests want. Now, we also need to analyze and understand what are guests talking about us. For example, ReviewPro. I think Kempinski's, Minor, Radisson, Western World is using enough of this app, ReviewPro. understanding the guest sentiments, understanding how well are they sleeping, how was the breakfast, how was the shower. I think those key drivers, understanding the spectrum of overall services, is something which tech transformation can deliver to hospitality. Understanding what competition quality indexes of your hotel is, understanding the global review index, and of course, everybody in all weekly and monthly meetings, we understand the semantic analysis. That's fine, but tech can bring so much on the plate that ultimately it affects the guest. As you rightly said, Mr. Khanna, in the starting, that word of mouth publicity, genuine attention, unforgettable experiences, yes, all can be achieved. Employees have more time to do touch points, and the word of mouth publicity can be much, much enhanced with the version in tech transformation world. One last word which I'll say to the people, I think it's something which I like personally very, very much. Communication straight away. The real-time communication, speaking the language the guest wants to listen, is something which is currently needed and currently happening. This is what my take on tech when is encompassing with hospitality. Thank you.
Well said, Pankaj. Let me tell you, technology has really come to our aid, right? Technology has come to our aid as somebody who runs a business, as a user, right? Somebody who's a consumer of what we have to offer as a guest, right? And the good thing is we're all up to it, and we all know it is an aid whose time has come.
Yes.
You look at AI. Look, I don't know what's scary, but look at what ChatGPT is doing.
Yes.
Right? That's another extreme end of the spectrum. But look at WhatsApp. Look at this platform that we are, virtual platform. It's all technology. Could you imagine a few years ago that we will all be sitting in the comforts of our office and home and be able to talk to each other seamlessly? So yeah, technology is here to stay, and a whole lot of organizations are actually training and assessing their staff on various virtual platforms. So good that far. That brings us to the middle of our show, right? We're the halfway point. So if I may, can I take a 30-second commercial break? Welcome back, gentlemen. Happy to be back with you. So tell me now, it's time for me to get back to you, Vimal. मैं आपके साथ अब शुरू करता हूँ with our next question. Right? Tell me, is operational excellence really a sum total of each department of a hotel measuring up, or is it a cultural in the brand and leadership DNA? And can a lack of it be turned around? Like, if everybody is not married to the idea, right, and it doesn't just come here, where are you stuck?
So if you ask me, I think it's how would I relate operational excellence more like how a body is, right? Is there a question on that which part is more important? Every individual part has a role to play, and the body is functional well and presented well when every organ has a role to play, and they do it to the due diligence of it, right? So to be very specific, does every department has a strong role to play? Yes, and overall excellence is all about sum of different efforts put in together, and that actually applies for across the different parameters of our hospitality. Coming to also a part which is called as is it measuring up as a cultural in the brand, or is it a leadership DNA? I'm a very, very firm believer of culture. I think there's a famous saying that you could take at every given time is called as culture can eat strategy over breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever meal period you love to do that, right? It's the strongest element. And when you look at the difference between good and a great organization is the only culture. See, everyone's driving and everyone's motto remains that let's take care of guests, let's take care of associates or employees. I think when we look at all, I think all of us in our different hotels and our different brands that we are working with, right? The core values are almost more or less same. Everyone's focused on the guest, everyone's focused on the associates, and of course the stakeholders. But the differentiating that one organization to another, and maybe one set of different organization to another ones, would remain how much deep dive is into the culture and how much are they more willing in that, because culture can so much make a difference in an individual's character. There was a study which at some point of time said that can culture be trained eventually, because that sets the organization for long-term success. And once the return starts coming, the perceived value and the return value to a customer starts growing very high. The answer was yes, it could be. You could train, you could develop people. Everyone as a human has the ability to be trained on cultural elements too. A very small and relatable example: when we change brands. I worked for one brand for long years, and then he moved to another brand. The core difference, of course, one of the most important difference that we all, especially at a senior leadership and general manager levels, which we have to learn first is let's understand the culture of the new organization, imbibe ourselves, be the one, and then live that brand accordingly. So culture for sure remains the core for any excellence that you would like to drive, because culture is all about emotion. I think if that's where the differentiating fact is there. Any excellent job that you want to do is about how much of emotion is dealt into that, right? And we are humans. While tech is a very important part, and the development of tech has come to a great benefit to us, it's very difficult to run hospitality without human emotion, and that will remain. And that's why culture plays such a big and important role for any operational excellence. And can this be turned around? I'm a firm believer. Yes, it can be. You see anyone's growth trajectory, and a lot of times when we worked with people, right? I'm sure we all have stories where we share with everyone stating that when I was in growing up stages, my bosses had a little less faith in me that, okay, this guy is not there. But you meet somebody after 3 to 5 years, the stories evolve. And I'm sure the amount of time and effort by the time you were ready to learn a lot of things, by the time it's like 8 to 10 years down the line, suddenly you see, oh, wow, there is a different transformed human being over there. So it is very, very easily possible for these things to be trained. Any lack can be turned around. Yeah, as I always say that core of excellence is about a sum total of culture that you drive in, especially as a leader, is a big influence that you can do. And also that can this be turned around? Very much possible that it can be turned around.
Excellent. Vimal, I would hate to be served by and handled by robots, or not be met by nattily dressed general managers, hotel managers, and front office managers when I come into the hotel, right? Or finding my servings on a conveyor. Sorry, that's not my kind of life at a hotel.
I always say to everyone, at least this industry, the job is safe. No matter how much techno advance we can.
Give them too much of this robotic stuff and they'll come back.
Yeah.
All right, let me move to my good friend, the Conrad, Abhishek.
Hanji, sir.
Tell me, how can a hotel ensure maximum guest experience with minimum investment? Because the misnomer is कि जी वो गेस्ट एक्सपीरियंस के लिए मुझे ये भी चाहिए, इतने पैसे लगेंगे. वो ओनर बोलता है तुम्हारा दिमाग खराब है, जितने मैंने पैसे लगाए हैं उसी में करो, राइट? और ऑपरेटर कहता है जी मेरे को तो गेस्ट एक्सीलेंस चाहिए. अभिषेक जाके बोलेगा जी मेरे को तो ये चाहिए, स्पा में ये चाहिए, F&B में ये चाहिए, जिम में ये चाहिए.
Khanna, the list is endless. Okay, nothing is ever going to be enough. Okay, so that way I think we are all on the same page. I think you'd never need excessive investments to elevate guest experiences. First of all, I think, and I always take inspiration from what Rai Bahadur M.S. Oberoi used to say, that no effort is too big and no detail is too small. As long as you are clear that you have been given an asset, a property which has been decked up to the best of its potential and capacity, now you have to take it forward. Now, once in a while, yes, you may want to upgrade, enhance certain services, but that also happens in a well thought out manner. By and large, on a day-to-day basis, you have to work with what resources you have. And I think if we are able to ensure that our team members, our colleagues are trained properly as per the brand standards and to make sure that they are all welcoming guests with a warm smile, with a genuine sense of care, with their heart in the right place, I think our 80% of the battle is anyway done. We have to be accustomed to investing time more than money with our guests, with our team members, to understand what their needs are, what the requirements are, what we can do to exceed those. Right? I think that's where the hotels, especially in India, they try and strive every day to deliver more and more. What is also emerging as a trend now is that you have to be mindful, and technology is playing a very, very big role in that, to be able to catalog requirements of each individual guest and make sure, no matter whether they come back to you in future or with your sister properties anywhere else in the world, that information travels fast so that their requirements are taken care of. It is these kind of things that ensure business continuity and constant march towards business excellence, rather than the investments. You can definitely make investment in technology is a big avenue there, but it's like an endless pit. You can keep throwing money for small gains. But by and large, you have to live, we have to survive, we have to thrive with the resources that we have at our disposal, which is our workforce, first and foremost. And I think our roles as senior leaders in the business is always going to be to work with them, spend time with them, make sure their skill enhancements continuously take place, and to ensure the 100% service delivery to exceed guest experiences and expectations is delivered on the ground. I think, in my view, to put it bluntly, investments monetarily are not really going to guarantee your business excellence. It is your genuine attitude, involvement, and working with the teams that will ensure that to happen.
Well said, well said. And also, I must say, somewhere we have to think like a Fauji.
Yes.
Or a middle class father. They had 2 or 3 dresses, if not 2 by a stretch 3. They had equal number of shoes, all perfectly kept, right? And they turned out better than any hotel general manager, right? Their lapels were right. They ironed their suits. वो लिनन को गीला करके और उसके ऊपर प्रेस मारते थे और सब ठीक करते थे और अच्छी तरह टांग के रखते थे. Lapels को वो round off करते थे. So that was excellence, right? You don't have
comes from the attitude. I mean, you don't really need to keep spending.
You look at a Fauji, his shoes will be shining, he'll turn out the best, he'll give you the best salute like Raman gave me before the show started. Karke. But that is what we have to make the most of it. We have to keep our crockery, cutlery, fridge, furniture, everything in great shape. And let me tell you, a whole lot of guests appreciate that.
I will add, Khannaji, one thing over here. My father's a retired Subedar Major, right? And every time in my growing days, I very proudly used to see there's never a moment. Army of course trains you for great lot of things in life and character, but one thing that it does always was that the element of respect and excellence was never to be taught. They always said that it's a self-learning, and the core elements of his uniform, whether it is to prepare it one day before he goes to the sleep, the shoes, you could I think, and I'm sure all of the GMs would relate to me, and a lot of them who are of course listening also to this. Look at the army man. No matter if he comes from the war also, right, or even if he comes from a field, his shoes, moment he enters, the first thing is again goes back to spick span, and he says, you know why? And I said, but why are you so particular about it? My father used to tell me, dude, I represent Indian Army, man.
Yeah, there you are.
That emotion from within is so thoughtful, and that's the core. We represent hospitality. I think this is a very core element that I think this.
This
I
is
had
a
to
great
mention it.
value system, and I just hope you guys can talk this example with your teams, right? So you've got to be frugal, but you've got to present luxury, right? So there you are. So time to get back to my friend Ramandeep Singh Marwah. Raman, why do I start thinking in Punjabi when I'm speaking to you? Tell me, coming back again to my favorite topic. I have two or three very favorite topics. So one of them is going to be in the next show, which is about diversity, inclusion, and equal job opportunities. But here, let me talk to you a bit on sustainability. What's the role of sustainability in our hotels' operational excellence? We're burning too much, right? Why don't you support your response with some examples? Keep it short because we're running. No, we're okay with time. Chalo.
All right. So, look, I think sustainability, is not just a fleeting trend. I think it's the fundamental pillar that forms, the bedrock of operational excellence in the hospitality industry, as all of us would agree. And it's like that glue that brings together various elements like guest satisfaction, cost efficiency, community engagement, and long-term business resilience. And all the initiatives, all of its initiatives go beyond reducing the carbon footprint. They create a unique and memorable guest experiences. Let's think about it. Eco-conscious travelers deeply appreciates what hotels that shares their values. So they really love when hotels bring in those elements or practices to the hotels. Especially with sustainability measures such as eco-friendly amenities, reducing waste. It resonates with all of these guests. Fostering loyalty and even leading to positive word of mouth marketing. It's like a ripple, sort of effect that not only enhances the guest experiences but also fortifies the hotel's brand reputation. An area where particularly sustainability shines is I personally feel is about community engagement and local partnerships. The hotel's initiatives such like sourcing organic produce from nearby farms or for their restaurants, or collaborating with local artisans for decor and furnishings, not only support the local economy, but also showcase the hotel's commitment to being a responsible and integral part of the community. Hotels can actually make efforts to ensure the facilities and services which are accessible to all the guests, but including those with disabilities. This include providing accommodations like wheelchair ramps, accessible rooms, etc., etc. It's like an insurance policy, I would call, for a long-term resilience of hotels by incorporating in responsible sourcing practices, waste reduction programs, and energy efficient programs. They are better equipped to navigate, changes in the consumer expectations and the regulations of what we all face. Now, sustainability is not only a standalone concept. It's intricately woven into the fabric of our systems and of operational excellence, so to say, in the hospitality industry, from guest satisfaction to cost savings, from regulatory compliances to long-term resilience, as I earlier mentioned. It's the driving force that propels hotels towards success. I think that's about it.
Yeah, excellence, is doesn't have too many strings attached, right? And sustainability can only improve it, and people are very conscious. now, right? So yeah. So let me move in with Anurag with my next question. Anurag,
Yes, sir.
maintenance issues. I'm now talking about your spends are vitally important for a hotel general manager because they need to ensure a pleasant experience for the guests. How can a general manager control maintenance expenses while ensuring quality services? One, and do you have any maintenance tips to optimize and increase profitability?
All right. Okay. Great question. Actually, I'll start with the question one first. Right. It's a great responsibility which is given by the owners to all the general managers, because that's a very critical and sensitive area of operation. If that is a failure, then whole hotel is a failure, basically. I'll give you an example. Simple example, if the intercom, the room intercom doesn't work, you understand how will the guest be able to do their room orders? If there is a complaint, how they will able to reach to the duty manager? If the upkeep of the lines are not properly done. So this is a small example I'm giving, right? Apart from this, there are a lot of huge equipments which are running 24 hours into 7, especially in COVID times when most of the hotels withdraw their operations level and they have to re-gear it up, and that became a challenge because a lot of hotels have saved their cost on it and they were not able to regenerate it, or rather I can say that they were not able to maintain it properly just because of these reasons and landed up into a more cost-centric effects. Well, I think the right maintenance strategy is very, very critical, where it will reduce risk and improve efficiency while giving cost within on affordable prices. If we delay the things, then the cost will go higher and higher the ladder. So for these things, what my strategy will be to create small teams, where we can give their individual targets to their associations, small associations, where they can be put into targets of cost-centric activities. So that's the way we can control it, because there are a lot of things, because I have seen a lot of things in where people don't go into the depth, which is electricity bill. I mean, a lot of engineers are not willing to go into the depth of how to read an electricity bill, where they are able to generate or meet a power factor, where we get a great subsidy. The spinning wheels, which needs to be intacted, how we can maintain the power factor time on time again, where we are lacking, what is the electricity rates, what time of the day the electricity rates are there, so they can plan their schedules accordingly and plan the preventive maintenances accordingly. Suppose the rates in the daytime are pretty high, right? So the laundry operations can be in the evening time, later off in the evening, where you can save on the cost front as well. And daytime, if your the engineering team is full there to do a preventive maintenance.
Yeah.
So you need to go into the depth of understanding and monitoring the process of the reports which are there of each and every machineries which are there. So it's a kind of revenue management also. You can do it in terms of machines also by doing in-depth studies of what time it will be on a high capacity, what time it can be on a low capacity, because most of the time we do save on the cost as well, right?
Okay, great. Excellent. That's true. Maintenance is important, but controlling expenses is also important. Let me come in with you, Pankaj, for our last one.
Yes.
Tell me, you have to be brief because we're just about running off time. So tell me, role of various departments, be it F&B, be it housekeeping, engineering. I mean, in a hotel's operational excellence.
Sure. Abhishek, thank you for the answer. Amazing interlinking of this question also. Well, I think employees are the paramount value assets, and all the departments are interlinked. Back of the house, front of the house, they all contribute in making the happy stories. every single department, which is not even seen by the guests, I think it attracts the top line and bottom line, critical to operations for sure. Let me explain quickly a couple of departments, how exactly they should perform in operational excellence. Let's take an example of food and beverage. I think the time is gone where food and beverage used to time the dish serving 15 minutes and 25 minutes and all that. I think that's time has really passed away. Now it's time to create memorable dining experiences, connecting emotions. That's where you win the hearts. Curate those menus, create those scenes which celebrates those days to experiential dining. I think that's something which is coming out to lead that way where hotels can notch above on operational excellence. I think that is what the world is becoming to. Front desk, if I say, it's not just welcoming experience. I think it's knowing the guest preferences to such a great detail that they say that we are welcomed. I think when they say that you're welcomed here, then you can really see that you have done a fantastic orientation, fantastic preferential lights have been done, spread out across the hotel, and they're feeling those moments when they walk across from restaurant to rooms and to your wellness centers. Housekeeping, if you ask me, I think it's more than cleanliness and keeping the hotel as an aesthetic condition is way beyond that. It's gone to detailing every room with their personal choices, whether they like latex pillow or so on. Understanding every single person who comes in and sleeps, how is their sleep experience? Understanding to such an extent that when they get up and they are next morning in the breakfast down, they all are feeling great. The well-being of the hotel is only when guests are feeling that fundamental. Engineering, if I ask more detailing in terms of, they also contribute in the sleep experience, the air quality, uninterrupted Wi-Fi fundamentals. Simply Netflix, Amazon to mirror Wi-Fi, whatever you say. It's all digital experience to such an extent that they all bring in the operational excellence. Softwares like Tipsy, where we are using, Aman is using many people. It teaches you, teaches the guest even to an extent how to make classic cocktails. It teaches employees how to understand and how to listen to people, how to talk to people, time management. I think all in overall, interlinking of the department is so intricate that it all contributes to success and reputation. I think it's not about only standardizing operational procedures. It's about employee training, technology integration, key performance indicators, all guest-centric. So much of interdepartmental coordination that you stand out in the competitive market. I think it's so complex, fundamental in the hotel now, so much that it allows you to deliver to that level. Let me take on 3 words for all of you to understand. A very key word which I agree: adaptability, balancing, and teamwork. I think that's something which can take us and move beyond the excellence. After all, it's all about crafting moments, and moments live forever. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. आप लोगों ने dialogue पढ़े मारे example बहुत ही. So good ones, right? So they stay, you know. So you can. So thank you, gentlemen. It's been a wonderful show. Don't go away. I will be thanking the sponsors. I'm going to thank you all also in a bit. But let us please close the show first with the Diversey video and come back to you all. Thank you again, Diversey. Now, we are going back to Bangalore for our last 2 shows next week, Thursday and Friday, 17th and 18th of August, 4 to 5 p.m. And the next show on the 17th is very, very special. It's a women's special, right? It's a pink show. Be there. We'll have some of the finest 6 general managers down south. And the topic is diversity and inclusion are critical to achieve an equal opportunity objective for an industry that is natural for women. Be there, look out for us, watch the show. They're very special general managers. I'm going to hold their names. We'll announce them. They're all there. They're all agreed and they're there. But for now, let me thank you, 5 natty gentlemen who've done a great case for this industry. For all the impressionable who are watching this show, look at these gentlemen. Look at the way they turned around. Look at the way they presented their case. Look at the way they represent their hotel and brand. They're great ambassadors for this industry. Well, in a few years after you select to be in this industry, you could turn out like them. Now, and also don't go away. It hasn't come to them so easily. They've actually done solid hard work. They put in years of hard labor to get where they are, right? They're responsible gentlemen. A soldier's son, Vimal Verma. Raman is coming from Chandigarh. Abhishek, he has his case. Pankaj has his case. So I think this industry is great. All those youngsters who are watching from hospitality schools or want to enroll into hospitality schools, the Indian hospitality industry is a great place to start your career with, and you can go places. Look at the number of Indian CXOs who are ruling the world and also ruling the world for hospitality. It's a great industry. Come in there, buy the numbers. The Indian industry is going to go far. There are so many travel, tourism, hospitality, F&B opportunities that the hotels are going to be very many times of what they are currently. Thank you, gentlemen. Abhishek, Sahai. Thank you.
Khanna, sir.
Thank you, Anuraag. Thank you, Raman. Thank you, Vimal. Thank you, Pankaj.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to bring you to the show.
Thank you, G, and wish you
Thank you.
all a very happy Independence Day.
All right, a very happy Independence Day, and also a word for my team over here. Thank you, Team BW. You put in the hard work. Tanvi, Shweta, Prashant, Kartike, Salman, and then Ajit, Saurabh, Amit, Nilesh. Thank you all, and thank you, gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Thank you, G. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Have a
Pleasure.
great evening.